Hello, welcome to the sideboard here at the StarCityGames.com Open Series in Baltimore. I'm Nick Miller alongside Carl Endres. How you doing?
I'm doing good today.
Now you've got a brew that I'm a big fan of, and long time ago in Standard and even some Extended, we saw Doran, the Siege Tower, walking around, causing some problems. You've brought that back in what I'm calling Tree Folk Beatdown.
I like to call it Baby Got Back, because Doran himself is Sir Mix-a-Lot, because he likes big butts.
I understand your reference.
Yes. I probably just dated myself, but...
Yeah. So it's a Doran deck, of course, but you've got Noble Hierarch and Tree Folk Harbinger here, really mixing the stew. Obviously, the Harbinger can get you Doran, or it can get you a land.
Yes.
And then from there, you're just playing efficient creatures which become efficient beaters thanks to Doran.
That is correct.
How'd you come to this build of deck? Because you got a smattering of stuff. You don't have a ton of numbers in anything except for your main cards. You got a couple Spell Skites running around, a couple Nyx Fleece Ram, some one-ofs.
Honestly, I just winged it. This deck was literally built in a fever of sleep deprivation at 4 a.m. Friday morning.
Okay, so like all good decks. So like all good decks thrown together at the last second.
Yes.
All right, what brings one to play Baby Got Back, as you're putting it?
Well, the idea was, I've always wanted to build a Doran deck. Ever since Doran was in Standard, I just never had the card pool for him until I just decided, you know what, I'm going to build it with what I've got. Now, the numbers shifted around a bit. There was Tarmogoyf in the deck at one point, but since I'm not running any Planeswalkers, I can't really take full advantage of him, so I decided to cut him in favor of the Ethersworn Canonist and the Scavenging Ooze. Scavenging Ooze I can take a lot better advantage of.
Yes. You get to mess around with their Tarmogoyfs with your Scavenging Ooze.
Exactly. I actually want to go up to a second Scavenging Ooze, but I'm not sure where to fit it in just yet.
Okay. Another interesting point here, you've got 4 Aether Vial, a card we've seen in like the Hate Bear strategy in Modern and Merfolk, but now seeing it in a green deck looks very powerful with the cards you have here.
Yes, the whole goal is to basically cheat counter spells and cheat Summoning Sickness. So if I can turn one a Vial, I will snap turn one a Vial every game I possibly can, so I can get Hierarchs in under counter magic so they are ready to tap on my turn. I've Vialed in Tree Folk Harbingers on my opponent's end step to get Doran ready for the next turn.
Right. So you've got a lot of sequencing you can do. Another interesting thing here with Courser Crewfix, Standard standout, a 2/4, of course, great with Courser, but as you mentioned to me earlier today, with Harbinger, you can set up the land drop to get for free with Courser.
I've not had a chance to do that yet. I want to do it this tournament, but it'll happen. If it happens, it'll be great. It will be wonderful, and I will cackle madly.
You've got the one of Murmuring Bosk that you can get with the Harbinger, of course, or any of your fetch lands, because it's still a forest. And of course, you've got some Siege Rhinos and a Tasigur, which have just been everywhere in Modern and Standard.
Siege Rhino is kind of a caving to the popular. I mean, also Siege Rhino has 5 toughness, so it hits harder with Doran out. Tasigur is amazing. His recursion ability is amazing. He comes down for the cheap. I haven't really been able to utilize him too well because he's only shown up. I'm only running him as a one-of. He's only shown up a couple times. But he makes the opponent pause. It's like, do I kill the Doran or do I kill the Tasigur? It makes it it puts him in a really tough spot.
Yeah, in a deck with Vial, you actually get to use your Tasigur because you're not spending your mana on your creatures.
Right.
Now, of course, you also got some recursion with your one-of Sword, and then you have some Path Exiles and some Thoughtseize and Abrupt Decays as your disruption package.
Basically, Abrupt Decay is just really good. So much in the format costs 3 or less. It basically negates anything Twin has to offer. It can be really good against Affinity. It can be pretty decent against opposing Abzan decks because it hits their low cost stuff and their mana dorks, forcing them to play fairer.
Right.
Thoughtseize is. I wanted to run a lot more disruption than just the Thoughtseizes, but I don't have the room for it because I wanted to try and get a set of Inquisitions in there, but it's like, excuse me. It's either do I run the Aether Vials or do I run the Inquisitions, and I'd rather have the Aether Vials for the speed and the ability to go under counter magic, because while there really aren't any good counter heavy decks at the moment, there's still a lot of tempo decks that run counter magic, such as Twin, such as Affinity. Well, Affinity doesn't really run counter magic, but Twin does, and so does the Geist decks. The blue, basically most blue decks run some kind of disruption that Vial allows me to bypass.
Right, and you said you've beaten Twin a number of times today. this deck looks to just really beat up with it. Of course, you got Paths, you got Abrupt Decays, and you even got the main deck Spell Skites that a lot of decks have.
I faced Twin 3 times today. I have 2-0'd them all 3 times.
All right, so if you're looking to stomp down on Twin, this could be the potential brew. Let's take a look at the sideboard here. A couple of chokes, just hating on them islands.
Yeah.
Some Rest in Peace. You don't really have that much graveyard interaction, so you don't really care about that.
Exactly.
Krosan Grips, we're dealing with troublesome permanents. Now, you've got a Blood Baron of Vizkopa in here. That's the one that stuck out to me.
So that's actually a cave-in to what happened last night at FNM. I lost to a white-black Martyr Proclamation deck because we just stalled out and he slams a Blood Baron, and I'm like, I've got nothing that can beat this card in my deck.
All right.
So I've decided that we cave into the one Blood Baron. It's also really good against any white or black-based removal deck, opposing Abzan decks.
Yeah.
So it's good to have an unanswerable threat for those kinds of more popular decks.
You've got some Zealous Persecutions and Golgari Charms functioning as -1/-1s and things like that.
Right. Golgari Charm also hits enchantments. I actually beat a Merfolk player because I Golgari Charmed his Spreading Seas that he played that turn to keep him from being able to get Island Walk on me.
All right. Very, very nice. And a couple Torpor Orbs and some stuff to hate on Affinity.
Right.
So rounding out the bunch. Well, the deck looks sweet. Are there any changes you would make after playing with it today so far?
Well,
You're X2 after 7 rounds?
Yeah, obviously I want to get the second Scavenging Ooze in there, but what to take out for that, I'm not sure yet. It's still a work in progress. I mean, this thing is literally 2 days old.
Right.
So I definitely want to work on it more. I might want to try and get a third Spellskite in the main, and I definitely want to fit a second Eidolon of Rhetoric somewhere in the board, because that guy is actually surprisingly good in this format.
All right, well, the deck is sweet. For only 2 days old, you've got a nice start here. Carl, thanks for sitting down with me here on the sideboard. Stay tuned to StarCityGames.com all week long for the action here in Baltimore.